tampering case, that as Democrats are demanding to see Mueller's report on the Russia investigation when it is filed with Attorney General William Barr. Let's discuss with Congressman David Cicilline, a Rhode Island Democrat who sits on the House Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committees. Never a dull moment. Here it is, Friday night, and we're talking very serious stuff. Thank you, Congressman. I appreciate you joining us here. You're demanding that this full Mueller report, that it be submitted, it is submitted to the DOJ, that it be made public. Give us a preview of the battle that we're going to see if this new AG, Bill Barr, only gives you a summary of this report.
Well, we should remember, Don, that this investigation began on behalf of the American people to investigate allegations that there is a foreign adversary that attacked our democracy and interfered with an American presidential election. So this was done on behalf of the American people. It's an investigation which has taken 2 years. It has resulted in 199 criminal charges against 39 individuals or organizations, with 7 convictions and 4 people already going to prison. So there's a lot here. And the American people have a right to know what this report says. We'll first ask that it be produced. If the Attorney General doesn't produce it, we will subpoena it before the Judiciary Committee. If they then contest that in court, we'll litigate that. Next week, we will introduce legislation, a group of us, that will require that this report be made public. Such legislation has been introduced in the Senate. It's bipartisan. But this is really essential, that the American people know all the facts, see the report. They paid for it. This is their investigation.
You think you have enough votes?
The American people have a right to know. Yeah, we'll pass it out of committee. We'll pass it on the House floor for sure. I hope it'll pass out of the Senate, and then the President will have to decide whether or not to sign it. But we're going to fight to make sure the American people know the truth. We will use the courts. We will use the legislative process. We will use the subpoena power. But the American people have a right to know what this report says, and we're going to make sure they do.
Do you believe Bill Barr, and what do you think he means when he says that he wants to be as transparent as possible?
Well, I mean, I'm very concerned. As possible. You know, during Mr. Barr's confirmation hearing, I mean, first of all, remember, he auditioned for this job by doing a 20-page memo arguing very expansive executive power that he shared with the president's legal team before he was appointed. Very unusual as a private citizen to be kind of currying favor with the appointing president. But he did that. When he was confirmed, he said he would not recuse himself, even if the ethics officials suggested he should. He also would not commit to making this report available to the American people. That's very concerning. I think he has not demonstrated independence from the president, and I think we're going to have to fight for the disclosure of that report on behalf of the American people.
Congressman, I want your reaction to the reporting that Paul Manafort is expected to face charges in New York if the president pardons him.
Well, look, I think, you know, the prosecuting authorities in New York, who have already apparently begun an investigation and convened a grand jury, have an oath. They have a responsibility to investigate and prosecute violations of the criminal law. And the fact that Mr. Manafort is facing a whole series of charges in the federal system doesn't relieve him from his culpability for any state offenses. They have a responsibility to uphold the rule of law. I think they intend to do that. And obviously that's very serious for Mr. Manafort. He's facing a very long sentence in the federal prison system, and he may be facing prosecution for state crimes as well.
Congressman, we're waiting on a lot of things to happen, and they could happen at any time. We may be seeing you tonight. Who knows? Over the weekend, we don't know. But thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Yeah.